number of people that are allergic to penicillin, and I just wanted to make a quick comment about penicillin. I used to be able, when I had more time, I used to be able to study older medical books, and I like to talk to the old-timers. A lot of the elderly that were allergic to penicillin years ago, it turns out they weren't necessarily allergic to penicillin. In the old days, they had what's called a carrier. It was an oil-based carrier to deliver the penicillin when they gave you a shot. It turns out the majority of people were allergic to that. And there's a test that they can do. If you ask the doctor, there's a special test to see if you're still allergic to penicillin. Because what I'll tell you, I had 2 cases, I think within the last year, where I was really surprised. I had the bugs that I cultured, the bacteria, when you do cultures and sensitivities, we call them bugs. These are the bacterial infections. But the bugs were resistant to almost all the drugs, the big gun drugs that we use, but I was shocked to find that it was not resistant to basic penicillin. Penicillin is as low as you go on the scale. That's your baseline right there. And at my own, I can't prove this because I don't have time to do research or anything like that. I've talked to a number of the other doctors, internists that are, a little more academic. And you're wondering if these bugs are becoming so sophisticated at resisting the higher-end drugs that they're forgetting their genetic basics to just be resistant to basic penicillin. Because I went ahead and prescribed the basic penicillin to these 2 patients, and we got rid of the infection. It was amazing.
That's a question I was going to ask you. I mean, how much pressure are you under as a doctor from Big Pharma? I'm in the doctor's offices occasionally, and I see all these drug reps coming in with all these new, latest, antibiotics and various other types of drugs. And if you know that a low-cost antibiotic or whatever drug is going to do the job, and you're a doctor and you're under pressure to use this new drug that doesn't work, and then, obviously if you continue to try these big gun drugs that you're talking about, it may worsen the situation with the patient who may, unfortunately have a demise or an amputation or something like that. I mean, how serious of a situation is evolving out there, Dr. Fred?
To address the drug companies, there is it's a subtle form of pressure. You get invited to a dinner, and then they make their presentation.
Sounds familiar.
Oh, pardon me?
I said, as a recovering politician, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like they're lobbying you.
Yes. Dr. Fred, have they been talking about condominiums and junkets to foreign countries and
boats
and your yacht?
Oh, I will say this. Now, there's been a change in the last year or 2. This is where the government has stepped in, and now they're saying that. To be fair to a lot of your drug reps, a lot of them you develop a relationship with after a while. You become very friendly with them. You get to know them.
You go out to dinner with them, go to a ball game with them, and they provide the tickets. This sounds almost just like a lobbyist in Jeff City that I counter occasionally.
Oh yeah, you get to know them, and you go to plays, you go out to nice dinners. And sometimes it's the best. It's always being married with a bunch of kids. It's probably one of the few times you're going to have a nice steak dinner or a lobster tail or something.
Right.
But then of course they'll present you with the drug that they have, and they're going to encourage you to use it. And I don't think there's any. You're not basically forcibly. There's. I think it's a very subtle way. I mean, you're just kind of, okay, how about, are you using our med yet? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And it's a sales technique, and I understand that. And, and after a while, they pretty much know which guys are going to write for their particular drugs and which guys aren't. I mean, there was a particular one, there was a drug that was supposed to really kill funguses, but it was causing a lot of problems as far as burning the tissues and things like that. And it looked hopeful in the beginning, but I used it a few times, didn't like it, and I stopped using it. And you get a bunch of phone calls. But what happens sometimes is that the clinics or the hospitals get lobbied, and then that drug becomes the drug of choice. That's the only thing available.
Dr. Fred, we are going into a break, and I just want to tell you, you might get a grin from this. We have had a parade of people in the radio station. We're in a glass-walled studio, and they've been walking by, thumbs up. They have been cheering you on from afar. And I know you can't see it from your phone, but that's what's happening right here at KWTO.
Oh, thank you. Tell them thank you so much.
No doubt about it.
It's helped you quite a bit. I appreciate that.
This is a great interview. Dr. Fred, we're going to the bottom of the hour break. We'll be right back on USA Prepares. I'm Mark Wright. I'm here with Vincent Finelli on 560 AM, the powerhouse of the Midwest with the biggest stick in the box.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. St. John's Mercy has announced plans to rebuild its hospital in Joplin. It will be located in the southwest corner of the city near I-44 and Main. It will replace the facility destroyed by the May 22nd tornado. Groundbreaking on the $950 million hospital is set for next January, with completion expected by 2014. 2 people have been charged with kidnapping a 4-year-old girl in Lebanon. 58-year-old Ronald Wright and 45-year-old Patricia Daniels allegedly took the girl from Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park. She was later found at a Walmart nearby and returned to her parents. And the finishing touches are being put on improvements to Ozarks Technical Community College just in time for the beginning of fall classes. Major remodeling of the Information West building will include 10 new classrooms and a fitness center. Work has also been done in Lebanon at 2 new buildings donated by Reuben and Mary Lou Casey of San Clemente, California. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
Clean up your business with Quality Clean. Reliable, dependable. Call the #1 team.
You know the expression, you never get a second chance to make a first impression? I'm Cindy Gibson of Quality Clean. Your business can make a great first impression when you use Quality Clean. Step up to the professional quality of Quality Clean. Call 833-4250.
Clean up your business with Quality Clean.
Sir, if it's all right with you, I'd like to leave and start happy hour just a teensy bit early.
Grimble, it's not 5 o'clock yet.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, sir.
Well, how about you answer that phone there, Grimble, and wow the customer for me?
Yes, sir. Hello, Wildcat Rental. Yes, we do rent tables and chairs for weddings. Yes, ma'am, Wildcat Rental also delivers.
Hi, this is Scott from Wildcat Rental in Rogersville, your Yanmar dealer, saying rent what you need from us. We're at 125 and 60 in Rogersville, or call 753-TOOL.
This is Dan Vaughn on KWTO's Morning Line. Is year-round school terms in Springfield's future? Dr. Norman Ritter, superintendent of the Springfield Public Schools, will be my guest Friday at 9 o'clock here on KWTO. We'll also be discussing why No Child Left Behind was a bad idea. That's on Morning Line on KWTO, the talk of the Ozarks.
Please return to your seats. Class is now in session at usaprepares.com. Interact now by emailing instructor@usaprepares.com or text 417-200-4715. And now, Vincent Finelli and Mark Wright.
This is USA Prepares. I'm Mark Wright. I'm here with Vincent Finelli. And you know, Vinny, that lead-in music is called The Wall Street Shuffle by 10cc. And, you know, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And we want to say thank you to some of those other talk radio stations out there that have started to play the Wall Street Shuffle,
Mark,
like usaprepares.com. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, don't you think?
Well, they're supporting us, Mark. They're playing the song all over our market.
Absolutely. And we ought to invite them folks to our meetup on Friday. What do you think, Vinny?
That'd be great.
Where are we having it?
Class meetup is this Friday at Ziggy's Cafe at the Lamplighter Inn. It's in the corner of Sunshine and Glenstone, Springfield, Missouri. There are details on the website, of course, 5:30 to 7, but we usually go to about 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Dinner is from $5.99. We've got special pricing just for the usaprepares.com class. Last Friday, Mark, we gave away free tickets to everyone that attended. We may do the same thing this week.
You just never know. You got to show up to find out.
So we'll be giving out free pairs of tickets to the Get Prepared Expo. And you'll also get a chance this Friday to meet Major George Wheelock. We talked about home defense early this week. He's our home defense safety instructor. And then Mike Knox is our instructor from White Harvest Seeds, and he talks about heirloom seeds. Of course, Dr. Howard Shane is always there. He's of Fox Grape Family Dentistry. And Len Pence, our instructor for Gardening Revolution. And Stan Smith, our security systems engineer. And Roy Birdsong, our Choose Your Own wireless exhibitor and wireless cell phone instructor. Mark, of course, you'll be there, and so will I.
Yeah, and Vinny, if a lot of those folks that can't come to the meetup and get a chance at winning free tickets, we have discount coupons all over Springfield. For example, ABC Bookstore up there on North Glenstone has discount coupons. Ziggy's, where the meetup is at, they have discount coupons. The Lamplighter Inn, which is right next door to Ziggy's, has discount coupons. So if you have an interest in picking them up, stop by or go to usaprepares.com and you can purchase tickets. Hit the store tab there. So I'm pretty excited about September 9th and 10th, and I'm extremely excited about Dr. Fred Meccia going to be one of our Get Prepared Expo instructors, Vinny.
Yeah, Dr. Fred, are we living longer? It seemed like our life expectancy was increasing, and then it doesn't get talked about anymore.
Can I tell you something very interesting? I'm glad you brought that up.
Uh-huh.
I find it ironic, and there's some statistics that bear this out. I've been talking to a number of people about this because, like I said, I treat a lot of that, that World War II type generation, Korean War, and a lot of those folks, and I ask them how they grew up, where they grew up, they do seem to live a longer life. I have patients in their 80s, 90s, a bunch of 100-year-olds, even 100-year-old plus. But what seems to be happening to our generation, the boomers and the younger ones, and I've witnessed this personally with some, friends of mine, you're seeing people die in their 50s, mid-50s and below 60, and from cancers, that seems to be rampant, and there are some issues. So I'm wondering, there's not a lot of statistical study at this time, but there's a lot of talk. And you're starting to see that. And you may even have experience, I don't know, being out where you are, it's probably a little more, I don't know what it's like, but I think the diet has a lot to do with it. I think we've moved away to the point where people are eating more and more processed foods. The stress levels are higher. Stress really does play a big role. That can be easily dismissed and people don't pay attention to it, but it does play a role in heart disease and some of the kidney problems, and even to things like the diabetes issues. I mean, if you can decrease that stress level and change diet, you can really diminish the amount of insulin and some of the medicines that you have to take. But
Dr. Fred, I think that the environment that you're in, I remember, I was just thinking as you were speaking, Thomas Jefferson said that the congregation of people in these large cities would be a long-term detriment to our country. And I see these people pack into these big cities, and the exercise, the food, and this fast-paced lifestyle is not good for your health. Where people, seems to me, in the suburban and especially the urban areas, they eat better. They're outside, they're in the outdoors. It just seems more conducive to be a better lifestyle than some of the larger cities. I don't know what your opinion on that is.
I think so. I think there are times, like even myself, there are days that I hit the ground running, and that's just given the nature of what I do, plus, having 5 kids and all that sort of thing that goes with it. But at some point, I realized I need to back off a little bit, and I do. At least it's just my partner and I, we have our own little business, as far as the care that we deliver. So we can tailor our schedule, and I know when I try. Sometimes I'll try to back off and give myself a little break, because in the beginning, when you're a little younger and you're real ambitious, you just have a tendency to burn the candle at both ends, and that you can't last that long. not in this